everyone. Today, just going to be doing some nice cozy reading. I'm gonna do some Edgar Allan Poe. I have a bunch of his poems here in a physical book. So it's just gonna be a bit of a cozy stream. It might be a bit shorter. I don't know if I'm gonna read them all today. Don't know if I'm gonna get how long it would take me to get through them all. But kind of reading has always been a big part of my life, and I'm really wanting to get back into it. So here we go. Just quick shout out though is that I do have a couple of assets, and I have those Ko-Fi shops linked on my YouTube description. So go and check that out there. Specifically this plush and the blanket. I do have both of those linked in the description. So, and they're both nice and free assets, which is super amazing to have. So yeah, go and give them some love. Again, the links are in the YouTube. And while you're at it, if you want to subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on Twitch and Twitter, I'd really appreciate that. But without further ado, we're gonna get into a little bit of poetry here. If you can hear the page flipping. Okay, so first we have The Raven. Once upon a midnight jury, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from the books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here forevermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor, entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor, entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore, but the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door, that I was scarce sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there and nothing more. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken," totally lost my place, "was the whispered word, Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, Lenore, merely this and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping, somewhat louder than before. Surely, said I, surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then, what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter, when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made her, not a minute stopped or stayed he, but when mine of lord or lady perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird, beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore, "Thou thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou," I said, "art sure no craven, ghastly, grim, and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore, for we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther than he uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, "Other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will live me, as my hopes have flown before." Then the bird said, "Nevermore," startled as the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken. "Doubtless," said I, "what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope what melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore." But the raven, still beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking "Nevermore." This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing, to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining, on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight gloated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight floating o'er, she shall press, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by seraphim whose footfalls tickled on the tufted floor. "Wretch," I cried, "thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff, oh quaff, this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate, yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." "Prophet," said I, "thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul, with sorrow laden, if, within the distant Aidenn, it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore." Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie thy soul hath spoken. Leave my loneliness unbroken. Quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, "Nevermore." And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting, on the pallid bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. So that was The Raven. That was our first one. Probably gonna do and take a little sip of water. I hope that the levels on everything are good. Yeah, so I've never actually read Poe before. So it's my first time. I mean, I liked it though. I like a little bit of repetition in poetry. Something else that I really liked, you can't see it, but with the way it's written, the stanzas, that most of them have just 1 or 2, maybe 3 words on the second line indented, and it starts the new line after that. Back at the start, so you have like 1 full line and then a couple of words indented on the second line. And in terms of spacing and the way it kind of like does a little pause towards the end of a sentence, I really like that. And then usually the stanzas end with just like 1 small extra line that just ends with like nevermore or something. So I thought that I really liked that. Yeah. So that was The Raven, and our second one is going to be Lenore. Ah, broken is the golden bowl, the spirit flown forever. Let the bell toll, a saintly soul floats on the Stygian river. And guide of there hast thou no tear, weep now or nevermore. See, on yon drear and rigid bier low lies thy love, Lenore. Come, let the burial rite be read, the funeral song be sung, an anthem for the queenliest dead that ever died so young. A dirge for her, the doubly dead, in that she died so young. Wretches, ye loved her for her wealth, and ye hated her for her pride, and when she fell in feeble health, ye blessed her that she died. How shall the ritual then be read, the requiem how be sung? By you, by yours, the evil eye, by yours, the slanderous tongue, that did to death the innocents, that died and died so young. Becavimus, yet rave not thus, but let a Sabbath song go up to God so solemnly the dead may feel no wrong. The sweet Lenore hath gone before, with hope that flew beside, leaving thee wild for the dear child that should have been thy bride. For her, the fair and debonair, that now so lowly lies, the life upon her yellow hair, but not within her eyes. The life still there upon her hair, the death upon her eyes. Avaunt, avaunt, to friends, from friends, the indignant ghost is riven, from hell unto a high estate within the utmost heaven, from moan and groan to a golden throne beside the King of heaven. Let no bell toll then, lest her soul, amid its hollow mirth, should catch the note as it doth float up from the damned earth. And I, tonight, my heart is light, no dirge will I upraise, by waft the angel on her flight, with the pain of old days. So this one's interesting. It's called, this one's Lenore. It's talking about Lenore, and definitely in The Raven, it did mention, Lenore several times. So it's interesting, it almost feels a bit prequely because he's talking about a lost Lenore in The Raven, and then in Lenore, the poem, it talks about how she dies. Yeah, I thought it was, I mean, this one felt a bit more on the head, a bit more on the nose than The Raven. Gosh, I just realized also I have like a little book I could put on. There we go. Now I'm reading my book. But yeah, I mean, I liked this one. I liked this one too. I thought this was a bit of a harder read than The Raven, but I still liked it. This next one, this third one, is called Hymn. At morn, at at noon, at twilight dim. Maria, thou hast heard my hymn. In joy and woe, in good and ill, Mother of God, be with me still. When the hours flew brightly by, and not a cloud obscured the sky, my soul, lest it should not be, thy grace did guide to thine and thee. Now when storms of fate o'ercast darkly my present and my past, let my future radiant shine with sweet hopes of thee and thine. This next one is called A Valentine. For her, this rhyme is penned, whose luminous eyes, brightly expressive as the twins of Loida, shall find her own sweet name, that nestling lies upon the page, enwrapped from every reader. Search narrowly the lines, they hold a treasure divine, a talisman, an amulet, that must be worn at heart. Search well the measure, the words, the syllables. Do not forget the trivialest point, or you may lose your labor. And yet there is in this no Gordian knot, which one might not undo without a saber, if one could merely comprehend the plot. And written upon the leaf, where now are peering eyes, scintillating soul, there lie perdus, the three elegant words oft uttered in the hearing of poets by poets, as the name is a poet too. Its letters, although naturally lying, like the night Pinto, Mendez Ferdinando, still form a synonym for truth. Cease trying. You will not read the riddle, though you do the best you can do. There's a little note at the bottom here. It says, to translate the address, read the first letter of the first line in connection with the second letter of the second line, the third letter of the third line, the fourth of the fourth, and so on to the end. The name will thus appear. Oh, that's hard. Wait, so the first, and then so we have to like FR. I cannot go. That's a lot of lines. That's a lot of lines. I feel like it's gonna be like Francine or something. But that's a lot of lines for me to do that with right now. This next one, I think we're on the, is this the fourth one? Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth one. So our fifth one is named the Colosseum. Type of the antique Rome, rich reliquary of lofty contemplation left to time, by buried centuries of pomp and power, at length, after so many days of weary pilgrimage and burning thirst for the springs of lore that in thee lie, I kneel, an altered and a humble man, amid thy shadows, and so drink within my very soul thy grandeur, gloom, and glory, vastness, and age, and memories of eld, silence, and desolation, and in night. I feel ye now, I feel ye in your strength, O spells more sure than e'er Judean king taught in the gardens of Gethsemane, O charms more potent than the rapt Chaldee ever drew down from out the quiet stars. Here, where a hero fell, a column falls. Here, where the mimic eagle glared in gold, a midnight vigil holds the swarthy bat. Here, where the dames of Rome their gilded hair wave to the winds, now wave the reed and thistle. Here, where on golden throne the monarch lolled, glides spectre-like unto his marble home, lit by the wan light in the orange moon, the swift and silent lizard of the stones. But stay, these walls, these ivy-clad arcades, these moldering plinths, these sad and blackened shafts, these vague entablatures, I don't know why I said that so French, is that right? These vague entablatures, entablatures maybe, I actually have not heard that word before. This crumbling frieze, these shattered cornices, this wreck, this ruin, these stones, alas, these grey stones, are they all of the famed, of the colossal left, by the corrosive hours to fate and me. Not all, the echoes answer me, not all. Prophetic sounds and loud arise forever from us and from all ruin unto the wise, as melody from Memnon to the sun. We rule the hearts of mightiest men. We rule with a despotic sway all giant minds. We are not impotent, we pallid stones. Not all our power is gone, not all our fame, not all the magic of our high renown, not all the wonder that encircles us, not all the mysteries that in us lie, not all the memories that hang upon and cling around about us as a garment, clothing us in a robe of more than glory. This one is interesting in that it used quite a few M dashes, and I'm a fan of an M dash myself, so I do appreciate it. I'm gonna take another little sip of water here. And move on to the next one. This next one is to Helen. Helen, thy beauty is to me like those Nicean barks of yore, that gently o'er a perfumed sea the weary, way-worn wanderer bore to his own native shore. On desperate seas long wont to roam, thy hyacinth hair, thy classic face, thy Naiad airs have brought me home to the glory that was Greece and the grandeur that was Rome. Lo, in yon brilliant window niche, how statue-like I see thee stand, the agate lamp within thy hand. Ah, Psyche from the regions which are Holy Land. This next one is 2, and then there's 3 dashes. Very mysterious. There's no note at the end of this one for figuring out who it's addressed to either, so. Not long ago, the writer of these lines, in the mad pride of intellectuality, maintained the power of words, denied that ever a thought arose within the human brain, beyond the utterance of the human tongue. And now, as if in mockery of that boast, 2 words, 2 foreign, soft dissyllables, Italian tones made only to be murmured by angels dreaming in the moonlit dew that hangs like chains of pearl on Hermon Hill, have stirred from out the abyss of his heart unthought-like thoughts that are the souls of thought, richer, far wilder, far diviner visions than even the seraph harper, Israfel, who has the sweetest voice of all God's creatures, could hope to utter. And I, my spells are broken, the pen falls powerless from my shivering hand, with thy dear name as text, though bidden by thee, I cannot write, I cannot speak or think. Alas, I cannot feel, for 'tis not feeling, this standing motionless upon the golden threshold of the wide open gate of dreams, gazing, entranced, adown the gorgeous vista, and thrilling as I see upon the right, upon the left, and all the way along, amid empurpled vapors, far away, to where the prospect terminates, thee only. So this next poem is, Ulalume, a ballad. The skies, they were ashen and sober. The leaves, they were crisped and sere. The leaves, they were withering and sere. It was night in the lonesome October of my most immemorial year. It was hard by the dim lake of Auber, in the misty mid-region of Weir. It was down by the dank tarn of Auber, in the gull-haunted woodland of Weir. Here, once, though an alley titanic, of Cyprus I roamed with my soul, of Cyprus with Psyche, my soul. These were days when my heart was volcanic, as the scoric rivers that roll, as the lavas that restlessly roll their sulphurous currents down your neck in the ultimate climes of the pole, that groan as they roll down Mount Yannick in the realms of the boreal pole. Our talk has been serious and sober, but our thoughts, they were palsied and sere. Our memories were treacherous and sere, for we know not not the month was October, and we marked not the night of the year, night of all nights in the year. We noted not the dim lake of Auber, though once we had journeyed down here. We remembered not the dank tan of Auber, nor the ghoul-haunted woodland of Weir. And now, as the night was senescent, and star dials pointed to morn, as the star dials hinted of morn, at the end of our path, a liquescent and nebulous lustre was born, out of which a miraculous crescent arose with a duplicate horn. A star's bediamonded crescent, distinct with its duplicate horn. And I said, she is warmer than Diane. She rolls through an ether of sighs, she revels in a region of sighs. She has seen that tears are not dry on these cheeks, where the worm never dies, and has come past the stars of the lion to point us to the path of the skies, to the Lethean peace of the skies. Come up, in despite of the lion, to shine on us with her bright eyes. Come up through the lair of the lion, with love in her luminous eyes. But Psyche, uplifting her finger, said, sadly, this star I mistrust. Her pallor I strangely mistrust. Hasten, let us not linger. Fly, let us fly, for we must. In terror she spoke, letting sink her wings, till they trailed in the dust. In agony sobbed, letting sink her plumes, till they trailed in the dust. Till they sorrowfully trailed in the dust. I replied, this is nothing but dreaming. Let us on by this tremulous light. Let us bathe in this crystalline light. Its sibyllic splendor is beaming with hope and in beauty tonight. See, it flickers up the sky through the night. We safely may trust to its gleaming, and be sure it will lead us all right. We safely may trust to a gleaming that cannot but guide us aright, since it flickers up to heaven through the night. Thus I pacified Psyche and kissed her, and tempted her out of her gloom, and conquered her scruples and gloom. And we passed to the end of the vista, but were stopped by the door of a tomb, by the door of a legend tomb. And I said, what is written, sweet sister, on the door of this legended tomb? She replied, Ulalume, 'tis the vault of thy lost Ulalume. Then my heart, it grew ashen and sober, as the leaves that were crisped and sere, as the leaves that were withering and sere. And I cried, it was surely October, on this very night of last year, that I journeyed down here, that I brought a dread burden down here, on this night of all nights in the year. What demon hath tempted me here? Well, I know, now, this dim lake of Auber, this misty mid-region of Weir. Well, I know, now, this dank tarn of Auber, this ghoul-haunted woodland of Weir. Said we, then, the two, then. Can it have been that the woodlandish ghouls, the pitiful, the merciful ghouls, to bar up on our way and to ban it, from the secret that lies in these wolds, from the thing that lies hidden in these wolds, have drawn up the spectre of a planet from the limbo of lunary souls, this sinfully scintillant planet from the hell of planetary souls. So I really hope I actually even said the name of this right. This Ulalume, I'm not sure if it's Ulalume, not really sure. So hopefully I said that right, because it was actually in the poem too. But I did just want to go back and shout out these couple lines, because I know I read them. I really liked the cadence that these had. And just like the vibe that they have here too. She rolls through an ether of sighs. She revels in a region of sighs. I feel like the word like sigh, it has just like, I just love that word, honestly. Like, it's not quite onomatopoeia, but I feel like it doesn't sound like a sigh, but it has that sort of like exhale part of a sigh, almost like sigh, like and so I just kind of like that cadence that it creates, that sort of like feeling it creates, because the word sigh, I feel like, just has kind of that connotation with it anyway, that sort of, and like, it's just breathy. I don't know, I can't even really describe it. I don't know why I'm trying to describe it, but I like mainly the cadence, and then also just the, just I feel like the feeling that it evokes, an ether of sighs. Ooh, okay, this one has some fun, playing with, lines and space. It's also broken up into parts. Yeah, so I feel like this one is gonna have a lot of good cadence in it too, but it's called The Bells. So this is 1. Hear the sledges with the bells, silver bells, what a world of merriment their melody foretells, how they tinkle, 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 in the icy air of night, while the stars that oversprinkle all the heavens seem to twinkle with a crystalline delight, keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme, to the tintinnabulation that so musically wells from the bells, 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 from the jingling and the tinkling of the bells. 2. Hear the mellow wedding bells, golden bells. What a world of happiness the harmony foretells. Through the balmy air of night, how they ring out their delight from the molten golden notes, and all in tune, where the liquid ditty floats to the turtle dove that listens while she gloats on the moon. Oh, from the sounding cells, what a gush of euphony voluminously wells, how it swells, how it dwells on the future, how it tells of the rapture that impels to the swinging and the ringing of the bells, 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 of the bells, 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 to the rhyming and the chiming of the bells. 3. Hear the loud alarm bells, brazen bells, what a tale of terror now their turbulency tells, in the startled ear of night, how they scream out their affright, too much horrified to speak. They can only shriek, shriek, out of tune, in a clamorous appealing to the mercy of the fire, in a mad expostulation with the deaf and frantic fire, leaping higher, 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 with a desperate desire and a resolute endeavor. Now to sit, or never, by the side of the pale-faced moon. Oh, the bells, 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 what a tale their terror tells of despair, how they clang and clash and roar, what a horror they outpour on the bosom of the palpitating air, yet the ear it fully knows, by the twanging and the clanging, how the danger ebbs and flows. Yet the ear distinctly tells in the jangling and the wrangling, how the danger sinks and swells, by the sinking or the swelling in the anger of the bells, of the bells, of the bells, 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 in the clamor and the clangor of the bells. 4. Hear the tolling of the bells, iron bells. What a world of solemn thought their monody. What a world of solemn thought their monody compels in the silence of the night. How we shiver with fright at the melancholy menace of their tone, for every sound that floats from the rust within their throats is a groan, and the people, all the people, they that sleep up in the steeple all alone, and who, tolling, 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 in that muffled monotone, feel a glory in so rolling on the human heart a stone. They are neither man nor woman, they are neither brute nor human, but are pestilential carcasses disparted from their souls, called ghouls, and their king it is who tolls, and he rolls, 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 the paean from the bells, and his merry bosom swells, the paean of the bells, and he dances and he yells, keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme, to the paean of the bells, keeping time, 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 in a sort of runic rhyme, to the throbbing of the bells, 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 to the sobbing of the bells, keeping time, 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 as he knells, 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 in a happy runic rhyme, to the rolling of the bells, 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 to the tolling of the bells, 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 to the moaning and the groaning of the bells. So that was a lot of repetition in that one. I really like the change from going from 2 to 3, it felt very happy. It says wedding bells are golden, and the next one we start with alarm bells, brazen bells. Obviously, like I said, lots of repetition in that one, especially finishing it out with all those repeating of time, and bells, and a few other things as well. So we're a little bit over half an hour through now, so I'm actually going to switch up the music, but I have a few things in here. I want to put on something good. Yeah, okay. Let me try this one. Let's see. I'm not actually hearing it. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. So I'm not actually hearing that one, so I'm not sure if it's actually playing. There we go. OBS, come on. Okay, now it seems like this is working. Yeah, okay. Yes, okay, so I think I'm going to stick with this one for now. Hi, Night Gaming. I'm just switching up the music right now. Today I'm just reading a bunch of poetry to chat. Yeah. So it's just a bunch of Edgar Allan Poe. I've been at it for about 40 minutes. It's just going to be a short stream today, so I'm probably going to wrap up by the time we hit an hour or so. But yeah, so it's just a bit of light reading, comfy Saturday night vibes, I hope. Let me just make sure the music's playing. Oh, there an output. Okay, yes, should be good. Okay. So this next poem is called An Enigma. Seldom we find, says Solomon Don Dunce, half an idea in the profoundest sonnet, through all the flimsy things we see at once, as easily as through a Naples bonnet. Trash of all trash, how can a lady don it, yet heavier far than your Petrarchan stuff, owl downy nonsense that the faintest puff twirls into trunk paper the while you con it. And veritably soul is right enough. The general Tucker manatees are arrant, bubbles, ephemeral and so transparent. But this is now, you may depend upon it, stable, opaque, immortal, all by dint of the dear names that lie concealed within it. Ligma. I don't think Poe was writing Ligma, but who knows? Maybe. Maybe he was. Maybe we're gonna hit a poem where he says Ligma. That would be something, alright. That would for sure be something. So this next poem is called Annabel Lee. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden, she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. She was a child, and I was a child, in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs in heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that, long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud by night, chilling my Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, went envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and the stars never rise but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so, all the night tide, I lay down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the side of the sea. So far I've really been enjoying Poe's poems. Have a bit more of a story to them. I find them a lot more engaging than some of his shorter, kind of like just like one-off, doesn't have as much meaning to me, except for the bells I really liked, but that one was a bit longer too. But yeah, all his storyish ones, so like Annabel Lee, Lenore the Raven, I really enjoyed those ones. And this next one is called To My Mother. Because the angels in the heavens above, devoutly singing unto one another, can find amid their burning terms of love none so devotional as that of mother. Therefore, by that sweet name, I long have called you, you who are more than mother unto me, filling my heart of hearts, where God installed you, in setting up my Virginia's spirit free. My mother, my own mother, who died early, was but the mother of myself, but you are the mother, or mother to the dead I loved so dearly, are thus more precious than the one I knew, by that infinity with which my wife was dearer to my soul than its soul life. Hopefully the music is still playing, because for some reason it's not playing on my end. Okay, there we go. I got it back up. OBS is working against me tonight. I don't know why, but OBS is working against me tonight. Alright, this next poem is called The Haunted Palace. In the greenest of our valleys, by good angels tenanted, once a fair and stately palace, radiant palace reared its head. In monarch thought's dominion, it stood there. Never seraph sped opinion over fabric half so fair. Banners yellow, glorious, golden, on its roof did float and flow. All this, was in the olden time, long ago. And every gentle air that dallied in that sweet day, along the ramparts, plumed and pallid, a winged odor went away. Wanderers in that happy valley, through two luminous windows, saw spirits moving musically to a lute's well-tuned law, round about a throne where, sitting, poor Ogeen, in state his glory well befitting, the ruler of the realm was seen, and all with pearl and ruby glowing was the fair palace door, through which came flowing, and sparkling evermore, a troop of echoes whose sweet duty was but to sing, in voices of surpassing beauty, the wit and wisdom of their king. But evil things in robes of sorrow assailed the monarch's high estate. Ah, let us mourn, for never morrow shall dawn upon him desolate, and round about his home the glory that blushed and bloomed is but a dim remembered story of the old time entombed. And travelers now within that valley, through the encrimsoned windows, see vast forms that move fantastically to a discordant melody, while, like a ghastly rapid river, through the pale door a hideous throng rush out forever, and laugh, but smile no more. I'm gonna take a little sip of water here. right on along to our next poem, which is called The Conqueror Worm. I feel like that might be the most interesting title yet. Lo, 'tis a gala night, within the lonesome latter years, an angel throng, bewinged bed night, in veils and drowned in tears, sit in a theatre to see a play of hopes and fears, while the orchestra breathes fitfully the music of the spheres. Mimes in the form of God on high mutter and mumble low, and hither and thither fly, mere puppets they who come and go, at bidding of vastless, formless things that shift the scenery to and fro, flapping out their condor wings, invisible woe. That motley drama, oh be sure, it shall not be forgot, with its phantom chased forevermore, by a crowd that sees it not, through a circle that ever returneth in to the self-same spot, and much of madness and more of sin, and horror the soul of the plot. But see, amid the mimic root, a crawling shape intrude, a blood-red thing that writhes from out the scenic solitude. It writhes, with mortal pangs, the mimes become its food, and seraphs sob at vermin fangs, in human gore imbued. Out are the lights, out all, and over each quivering form, the curtain, a funeral pall, comes down with the rush of a storm, while the angels, all pallid and wan, uprising, unveiling, affirm that the play is the tragedy, man, and its hero, the conqueror, worm. I like that one. I'm not entirely sure, but that ending makes me feel like it's talking about death. That the play is the tragedy, and then in quotes, man. So like a man dying, and its hero, the conqueror, worm. So like decomposing. Definitely something to do with worms there. So I feel like that's what that one meant to me, which I think is really interesting. I think that one's really interesting. Oh, so we have another one, too, and it's dashed out. And again, I wish that there were notes on that. I don't think there's notes anyway here on that, because I do wonder if he just made a bunch that were two and then not giving it a name. I think that's interesting also. This one's short though. Thou wouldst be loved, then let thy heart from its present pathway part not, being everything which now thou art, be nothing which thou art not. So, with the world, thy winning ways, thy truth, thy youth, thy beauty, shall be a daily theme for praise, and love no more than duty. And this next one is called To One in Paradise. Thou wast that all to me, love, for which my soul did pine, a green isle in the sea, love, a fountain and a shrine, all wreathed with fairy fruits and flowers, and all the flowers were mine. Ah, dream, too bright to last, ah, starry hope that didst arise but to be overcast, a voice from out the future cries, on, but o'er the past, dim gulf, my spirit hovering lies, mute, motionless, aghast. For alas, with me, the light of life is o'er. No more, no more, no more. Such language holds the solemn sea, for the sands upon the shore shall bloom a thunder-blasted tree, or the stricken eagle soar. And all my days are trances, and all my nightly dreams are where thy great eyes glances, and where thy footstep gleams, in what eternal dances, by what eternal streams. That's the end of that one. I thought there was going to be another page. And on the next page, we have the start of the next one, which is called The Valley of Unrest. Once it smiled a silent dell, where the people did not dwell. They had gone unto the wars, trusting to the mild-eyed stars, nightly from their azure towers to keep watch above the flowers, in the midst of which all day the red sunlight lazily lay, Now each visitor shall confess the sad valley's restlessness. Nothing there is motionless, nothing save the airs that brood of the magic solitude. Ah, by no wind are stirred those trees, that palpable like the chill seas around the misty Hebrides. Ah, by no wind, whose clouds are driven, that wrestle through the unquiet heaven, uneasily from morn till even, or over the violets there that lie, in myriad types of the human eye, over the lilies there that wave and weep above a nameless grave. They wave from out their fragrant tops, eternal dew come down in drops. They weep from off their delicate stems, perennial tears descend in gems. Our next poem, which I think we're moving into our last few here, I'm probably going to stop once we get to about an hour or so. So maybe another 2 or 3, maybe 4, 5, depending on how long they are, because some of them are only about 8, maybe 10 lines, so depends on how long they are. This next one is called The City in the Sea. Lo, Death has reared himself a throne in a strange city lying alone, far down within the dim west, where the good and the bad and the worst and the best have gone to their eternal rest. There shrines and palaces and towers, time-eaten towers that tremble not, resemble nothing that is ours. Around, by lifting winds forgot, resignedly beneath the sky, the melancholy waters lie. No rays from the holy heaven come down on the long night time of that town, but light from out the lurid sea streams up the turrets silently, gleams up the pinnacles far and free. Up domes, up spires, up kingly halls, up fanes, up Babylon-like walls, up shadowy, long-forgotten bowers of sculptured ivory and stone flowers. Up many and many a marvelous shrine, whose wreathed friezes intertwine the vial, the violet, and the vine. Resignedly beneath the sky, the melancholy waters lie, so blend the turrets and shadows there, that all seems pendulous in air. While from a proud tower in the town, Death looks gigantically down. Their open fanes and gaping graves yawn level with the luminous waves, but not the riches there that lie in each idol's diamond eye, not the gaily jeweled dead tempt the waters from their bed, for no ripples curl, alas, along the wilderness of glass. No swellings tell that winds may be upon some far-off, happier sea. No heavings hint that winds have been on seas less hideously serene. But lo, a stir is in the air, the wave, there is a movement there, as if the towers had thrown aside, in slightly sinking, the dull tide, as if their tops had feebly given a void within the filmy heaven. The waves have now a redder glow, the hours are breathing faint and low, and when amid no earthly moans, down, down that town shall settle hence, hell, rising from 1,000 thrones, shall do it reverence. So this next one is called The Sleeper. At midnight in the month of June, I stand beneath the mystic moon. An opiate vapor, dewy, dim, exhales from out her golden rim, and softly dripping drop by drop upon the quiet mountain top, steals drowsily and musically into the universal valley. The rosemary nods upon the grave, the lily lolls upon the wave. Wrapping the fog about its breast, the ruin moulders into rest. Looking like Lethe, see, the lake a conscious slumber seems to take, and would not for the world awake. All beauty sleeps, and lo, where lies Irene with her destinies. Oh, lady bright, can it be right? This window open to the night, the wanton airs from the treetop laughingly through the lattice drop. The bodiless airs, a wizard route, flit through the chamber in and out, and wave the curtain canopy, so fitfully, so fearfully, above the closed and fringed lid, neath which thy slumbering slumbering soul lies hid, that o'er the floor and down the wall, like ghosts that shadows rise and fall. Oh, lady dear, hast thou no fear? Why, and what art thou dreaming here? Sure, thou art come of far off seas, a wonder of these garden trees. Strange is thy pallor, strange thy dress, strange above all thy length of the trees, all this, all silentness. The lady sleeps, oh, may her sleep, which is enduring, so be deep. Heaven have her in its secret keep. This chamber changed from one more holy, this bed for one more melancholy. I pray to God that she may lie forever with unopened eye, while the pale sheeted ghosts go by. My love, she sleeps, oh, may her sleep, as it is lasting, so be deep. Soft may the worms about her creep, far in the forest dim and old. For her may some tall vault unfold, some vault that oft hung flung its black and winged panels fluttering back, triumphant o'er the crested palls of her grand family funerals. Some sepulchre remote alone, against whose portal she hath thrown in childhood many an idle stone. Some tomb from out whose sounding door she ne'er shall force an echo more. Thrilling to think, poor child of sin, it was the dead who groaned within. You want to sleep now? Good, because I'm probably gonna go to sleep very soon after this, so nice calming vibes is what I was going for. A lot of times I stream and end up like super hyped. I think my streams, I like to play a lot of cozy games, but I do think a lot of them I end up getting like very excitable about things. So this one is just a nice cozy calm stream, so I hope that it is night for you and that you can sleep soon, and this will just like lull you to nice sleep, like a little bedtime story. So I think we're gonna do 3 more, and then I'm going to call it a day. So this next one is called silence. There are some qualities, some incorporate things, that have a double life, which thus is made a type of that twin entity which springs from matter and light, evinced in solid and shade. There is a twofold silence, sea and shore, body and soul. One dwells in lonely places, newly with grass o'ergrown. Some solemn graces, some human memories, and tearful lore render him terrorless, his name's no more. He is the corporate silence, dread him not. No power hath he of evil in himself, but should some urgent fate, untimely loss, bring thee to meet his shadow, nameless elf, that haunteth the lone regions where hath trod no foot of man, commend thyself to God. This penultimate one is called A Dream Within a Dream. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow, you are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep. O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? Paper Mario Color Splash is cool. Actually, I really like Paper Mario games. I really like, in general, I like a lot of Nintendo games. I do really like Nintendo a lot. I actually don't play Lethal Company though, because while I like Nintendo and I like my cozy games, I'm not too big on horror. I do see that it's kind of like the big one that's going on right now that a lot of people are playing. It's probably just not for me though, because like I said, I'm a bit of a coward. I don't like much horror. I've been thinking about maybe giving it a try since it's such a big thing, kind of, I feel like, in the VTuber community right now. Maybe in the streamer community at large, I'm not sure. But yeah, for me, I don't like horror all that much, so I'm probably just going to continue to skip it. Yeah, but it seems like a good one if you like horror. That's just not me. And I'm gonna get into the last poem now. It's called Dreamland, which is, I think, a good way to end a nice, cozy stream is with a poem called Dreamland. By a route obscure and lonely, haunted by ill angels only, where an eidolon named Night on a black throne reigns upright, I have reached these lands but newly, from an ultimate dim Thule, from a wild, weird clime that leath sublime, out of space, out of time. Bottomless vales of boundless floods, and chasms and caves and titan woods, with forms that no man can discover, for the dews that drip all over, mountains toppling evermore, into seas without a shore, seas that restlessly aspire, surging unto skies of fire, lakes that endlessly outspread their lone waters, lone and dead, their still waters, still and chilly, with the snows of the lolling lily, by the lakes that thus outspread their lone waters, lone and dead, their sad waters, sad and chilly, with the snows of the lolling lily, by the mountains near the river, murmuring lowly, murmuring ever, by the grey woods, by the swamp, where the toad and the newt encamp, by the dismal tarns and pools, where dwell the ghouls, by each spot the most unholy, in each nook most melancholy, there the traveller meets aghast, sheeted memories of the past, shrouded forms that start and sigh, as they pass the wanderer by, white-robed forms of friends long given, in agony to the earth and heaven. For the heart whose woes are legion, 'tis a peaceful, soothing region, for the spirit that walks in shadow, oh, it is an Eldorado, but the traveller travelling through it may not dare, not openly view it. Never its mysteries are exposed to the weak human eye unclosed. So wills its king, who hath forbid the uplifting of the fringed lid, and thus the sad soul that here passes beholds it but through darkened glasses, by a route obscure and lonely, haunted by ill angels only, where an eidolon named Night on a black throne reigns upright. I have wandered home but newly, from this ultimate dim Thule. There are two VTubers that gonna stream on. I'm good. I'm not gonna join. Actually, I just don't have the game. I don't really like horror, like I said, so it's definitely not my kind of thing to play. Yeah, but I am probably going to end it there for the night. My voice is starting to go a little bit. I was talking a lot today. Pretty much just talk straight through stream. I do just want to shout out what my favorite was, which was probably the bells. I really liked that one. I liked kind of how it juxtaposed all the different sounds that the bells can have. Yeah, so I really liked that one. And I also actually really liked Annabelle Lee. Like I said, the story in that one I thought was cool, and it's a bit, bit of a love story too. Probably gonna go and do a bit of research on Edgar Allan Poe, see some of maybe other analyses on it. Yeah, and it was very it was a little dark, some of it. Not necessarily the happiest stuff, but yeah, I liked it. You'll be going then? I do love a good pun. So thanks for that. Yeah, and I will be going to just talk about you. Yeah, if so, whatever you're gonna do with the rest of your day, if you're gonna play some games, if you're gonna stream, I don't know if you stream or not. I hope that you have a good time with it. I hope you have fun with it. Again, I have these assets that I'm using are linked in my YouTube description. Give me a follow there on Twitch and on Twitter. And that's about it. Thank you for chilling today. I hope you enjoyed the cozy stream. I'll be back probably in a week, either next Friday or Saturday once I'm done with my semester. So have a good rest of your day, and I can't wait to be with you again. Bye!